Alright, this is not my first choice of what I wanted to do, but there's not much money left in the piggy bank, so I've got to use what I got. Now, I won't tell you why I ended up with 3 driver side floor pans, but I ended up with 3 driver side floor pans. I went ahead and did the stupid thing of cutting up a right hand side one into strips, reversing it to get this section because that was all rusted out, pinched that little bit. Now I've got this section here to try and make. It's going to be a lot of work to try and convert a right hand to this pattern, so I'm going to have a crack at doing it myself. I've laid my paper down. I just traced out with some pencil there where these lines go, and they came along with the ruler and marked it all out good and proper. Cut out a bit of sheet that I got. Now I'm going along with little spring-loaded punch and just punching in some witness marks along all these lines. Then I'll take the paper away, scribe them, and I'm gonna have a crack at hand forming that little section. I don't know how this is going to turn out. This could very well be a successful failure, but at least I can say I tried. And when I do it, I think I'm in two minds. This little bit of the lowered section here, if I do that first, that might give it some strength to then attempt these ones, because these are fairly deep sort of valleys in it, and but then again the other half of me saying no, do these first because it's going to fucking deform everywhere, so I should edit that out. I'll do these first, it's going to deform, and then get me a nice straight line. So I don't know. This is a first for me, maybe a first for you as well. There may even be somebody, not the way you do it. Bear in mind, I've got very limited sort of tools here as well as far as panel work goes. I don't have a roller, a bead roller. I don't have, what do they call them, a planisher, and I don't have shrinker. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to finish marking this out. Alrighty, I've got me welding blanket doubled over. Hopefully there's enough give in it to be able to work this metal. The old cold chisel, she's been modified slightly. Took the sharp edge off it, and I'm going to go along and just start tapping along these lines and see what we come up with. I'm going to be happy just with a rough approximation of the desired shape. My first preference would be to get a pristine original floor cut. That's not going to happen. Second preference is obviously buy a nice reproduction one. That's not going to happen. So here I am on the floor with a cold chisel and hammer trying to make something usable. I may amaze myself here. I may. But I'm not going to hold my breath. First attempts are rarely successful. I was almost going to get a chunk of wood, like a sheet of plywood or something, MDF, get the pattern down and router it out, but nah. See how we go with this method. Well, that hasn't punched it down like I wanted to. What to do now? What about, alright, let me think about this for a minute. What am I doing? Don't ask. Alright, you ready for this contraption? 2 hours later, pretty much exhausted all my off-cut supplies, but yeah. I think it's kind of self-explanatory. It's it's going to attempt to hold sheet metal while I manipulate it. I made it wide enough to fit that panel, and it should be wide enough for a lot of other bits and pieces. But yeah, she's pretty agricultural, but she works. Well, that bit works. I don't know about the actual usefulness, but I used heavy wall RHS where I could, mainly on the sides here. Didn't have enough heavy wall up the top, so I've doubled it up the top. Bit of plate just to stop it punching through. I'm anticipating improvements later on. As I use it, I'll figure out where the weak points are, but I don't know what else to say. These last storm we had, we always get trampolines bouncing across the paddock, and when I go mowing, I find them. I pick them up. So they seem to work pretty good, but yeah. Alright. Later on down the track I might weld some heavier plate steel on the bottom, on the underside here. We'll see. We'll see how it works first. I'm not going to film this because it could potentially be embarrassing. Guess what? For this part of the project it seems to work okay. The first thing I come across was these guide plates. They're stopping me from getting nice and close to the edge there, so I ground them away. I'll see if I can, that should get in there now. I think I might cut these off at a later date. The bottom of the jack's an issue too, but anyway. I never said it was going to be perfect, although there is definitely room for improvement. I think I know where I'm going to improve it. Now I wonder, because I've got the ridge in it there now, but I wonder, what else have I got? Now if I because I've got the fold line in there now, but I just want to push that metal down a bit, so oh yeah. Alright, let's see. Oh. Oh. That worked. It worked. Okay. Other side. So, if I feed him in this way, it'll push him down. About there. I haven't heard any of my welds go pop yet, so pushing down a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I shouldn't put that there. It's not as defined as the other one. Keep working him, I suppose. Bloody noisy. Don't know what the neighbours are going to think. Well, I'll tell you what, for an amateur. That's not too bad. What does it compare? How does it compare with the rare spares? Where is it? It's this line here because it's got the return on it. It's a crisper line. It's a sharper line. What about the original floor? Hard to see because there's not much of it left, but I mean it's there. Well, I'm going to run with it. That'll do. Like I said, it's an approximation. Hey, I'll run with it. Now I'll put the other fold in it, so it's got to go in like that. Well, this is shit house. Me special tool that I made up doesn't work. That's first attempt at it. It didn't do too much. Honestly, I'm doing it the old school way now, and it's kind of easier. But yeah. Fancy isn't always the best. Not saying that this is what I was doing was fancy, but warping like the USS Enterprise. Anyway, keep plugging away at it. Sure, I'll get to something usable at some point. Of course, what's happening as I'm creating these valleys, it's pulling all this in and making everything so they're not quite parallel. I've had to scooch this one over a bit and this one a bit, but taking back over. Flatten him out again. Alright, so here's the finished product. Forgive me for skipping some final trim steps, but once again the GoPro went flat and I didn't know about it. But anyway, there it is installed. It came out pretty good, all things considered. I stripped the old rusty red ute and the bench seats sitting in there now. Got some pretty sort of useful parts off the old red ute. Got the Trimatic column shift, steering column, seat belts and drive shaft, exhaust, brake booster, etc. Now I guess the next project I have to knock over is this is a stroker motor, 5 litre stroker motor, 355 with a scat crank. Now this is a project for a builder mate. He's putting this into a WB ute, and I'll take this cover off so you can see, but it's just an engine block with a crank in it. Just going to start dummying this up to mark out the clearances on the block. So with a stroker motor, unless it's like a late model Commodore that's already been, you know, relieved from factory, you've got to sort of get in there with dummy up your con rods, pistons, put them in, and then slowly rotate it around until you can sort of get a gauge for where you're going to clearance the block for the con rods. But so that'll be the next sort of project, and I don't think I'll film it because it's not really relevant to this project, and it's, I don't know, it's a bit more like a job to me. Like I've exchanged doing this for the use of his bobcat and digger and dump truck, etc. So yeah, the old HT is probably going to get put on the back. I better cover this up again, don't want to get that covered in shit. Yeah, the old HT is probably once again going to get put on the back burner for a little while. But overall, I mean, the lines came up pretty good. I mean, the basic tools that I used, I was only going for an approximation of, you know, what was there from factory, and I mean this is pretty bloody close. I mean, some of these little valleys and whatever, you know, the lines aren't quite as crisp, you know, compared to as if you had it in a proper die stamp. But I mean, this section came out a lot crisper and a lot flatter than the rare spares. I don't know, I'll turn this torch around. The rare spares, there's, you know, I'm not going to complain too much about the rare spares, but you know, the lines aren't as crisp and the sheet metal isn't as flat. But sort of mucking around in all, this was done in one day, from conception, kind of marking it out and making the template, to even building the little bloody sheet metal press thingo. You know, it was all done in a day. And look, I'm happy with the result. It's solid. It's rust free. Once I get some coating over the top of it, I mean, yeah, she'll sail through inspection, and I know that it's going to be fresh metal, and even though it's not going to be something that's worthy for a cruiser, I'm happy. So yeah, I'll wrap this video up now. Dinner time, etc. The realisation I've come to, if you're going to do stuff on a budget, it's a trade-off. If you're going to do stuff on a budget, be prepared to sacrifice time. If you want to get stuff done quick, then you better have some cash behind you, because otherwise, you won't get it done. But this is probably going to be my last video for easily another month or two. There's a few things I've got to take care of here at the home front, and the cars are a bit of a luxury. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Enjoy.